Most hated thing is Rundfunkgebühr.
Oh, that's so annoying.
50 euros for like 3 months feels like so much money to you.
So one of the reasons why we kind of stopped vlogging was because,
And I personally have never heard it from another country that they have such ridiculous.
and that is highly illegal. I hate this, absolutely. I think like 100%.
But you know exactly, it's like a taunt.
Yeah.
It will never stop being annoying.
You have glasses, you have bald, you're fat, you have white hair, you have really hate that thing. Being fair is seen as something nice and something desirable.
I hate time waste and I don't want to be in a relationship.
Hey guys, my name is Bharat and today I'm with my wife Alina and we are going to talk about the cultural differences between India and Germany and like some other things. Now again, this video is going to be rather long and I totally understand that like in these day and age of like Instagram reels and TikTok and everything that you just want to like scroll like every 10 or 15 seconds. But these are like very important and educational videos and you will learn a lot from this. If you want to like kind of go through the entire thing faster, try watching it at 1.5x or 2x speed.
And this is the cultural exchange you need to watch because other people like do very one-sided videos, but I grew up in Germany, he grew up in India, so we can really do this cultural exchange, and we do not mean any disrespect with any of our points. These are just our views and what we have experienced, and of course maybe some of them are not 100% like what you have experienced, so just know that we don't mean any disrespect.
Yes.
So we try to do the videos very diplomatic, that's why we have picked 5 good points about Germany and 5 bad ones, and the same with India. Let's start with 5 German bad things, more like on the negative side. And point number 1 is you need appointments for everything, even for meeting your friends. And that can be very annoying for some, that can be very productive for some. Like I mentioned in the last video, German are just very time efficient people. They like to be productive, so they schedule everything, and in general, like if you need to go to a Behörde, you need an appointment and you cannot just go spontaneously.
That is something that I also like kind of had to get used to, because when I was in the university, was meeting my friends or something, but it was not something like, okay, let's just go out and like, let's meet up. That didn't used to happen. That was not normal at all. You have to like come up with appointments. You have to check, everybody has to check their calendar, and then they decide, okay, like this is the date which fits everyone. So this could be a bit annoying, but you also see that like this is the way to like get things done in a more reliable way, because then okay, like nothing is clashing on that particular day, and then everybody can meet up.
Point number 2, this is the absolutely, I think, most hated thing, is Rundfunkgebühr.
Radio tax, it's called.
We used to hate this so much when we were living in Germany. It is just such an unnecessary cost added, and especially when you're like struggling with money, these like 50 euros for like 3 months feels like so much money to you, and in a year it's like more than 200 euros, which you basically pay for the media and for the radio, for doing God knows what. And then what pisses me off the most is that like these media channels,
they also have advertisements.
No, they have advertisement, and they deactivate the comments, so you don't even have freedom of speech. So like, and what am I paying for? But I think at some point like the German media was struggling, and then the German government did this to like help them out, but like I just find this so stupid, and I just don't understand why we should pay.
And another thing is that it does not matter if you have a radio at house, it does not matter if you have a TV at house, if you're connected to the cable or something. If you're living in Germany and you have an address, every single address has to pay. So if you're like multiple friends or something like living together, so it is possible that you divide those amongst each other. But for this, like, of course, you have to talk to
ARD,
ZDF. Yeah, you have to like kind of talk to them then.
And I think in student hostels you don't have to pay for it. I feel like it is paid once, and then like it's
Yeah, I mean,
in
like,
Nebenkosten, I think.
yeah, I mean, I think in those kind of scenarios, like most of the times, these Studentenwerk people, they try to like make it much easier for you, so everything is like already covered somehow. Like, but again, it depends from like place to place.
And what I find the worst is you have to pay. Like
Yeah.
there's no way around it.
no
And
way
I know there are some people who don't pay it, but then they get letters, fines, things like that. And now they are saying, okay, we're gonna go to court if they bring it that far. And I personally have never heard it from another country that they have such ridiculous fee. Coming to point 3, so this is, I don't want to generalize, but I would say that like in terms of having a relationship with a German man, for example, like I think getting married after 1 or 2 years after the relationship is like not normal. So
It's
many
a
people wait for like 5-10 years to get married, and even if you get married like early, then it's like very weird. So I don't want to generalize. Maybe there are a few German men who got married early, but I think mostly they wait for a lot of time until they get married. So that is one negative, because I'm a person like I hate time waste and I don't want to be in a relationship for 10 years, then maybe get married if things run good.
Everything fast.
Wasted my life. Point 4 is paperwork. That is something we really hated, because Bharat had his business, obviously. So much paperwork, health insurance, so much paperwork.
The thing is, like, so many people try to do this illegal stuff in Germany, and like they come from home countries. Like I've seen like many Indians who come from India and then afterwards start a business in Germany and do not have the business registered in Germany, even though all of the activities are being done in Germany, and that is highly illegal. Like if the Finanzamt knows about it, like you're pretty much screwed with massive fines, which is going to go on for a very long time. So like don't do this stuff. So of course you have like more paperwork to do in the starting. Like starting up a business is pretty easy, like that's not a big drama, but like continuing the business, like that just requires a lot of paperwork. And yes, you have to do it if you want to like run your business in Germany.
Paperwork is a lot, but it is worth it, and I think it's very important to do everything legal. Why would you have this headache and thinking, okay, I'm doing something illegal and maybe I get caught, and maybe not, but like there's a chance. And I couldn't sleep at night personally if I would be doing some weird activities like getting money to my home country. And then the last point is Sunday everything is closed.
Oh, that's so annoying.
That is very annoying. Even like for me growing up in Germany, it is still annoying. It will never stop being annoying. I love it. In Denmark, for example, everything is open Sundays. And in Germany, you have this pressure of getting like, you have like Saturday, Sunday off. So Saturday usually is your grocery shopping, your whatever shopping you want to do, whatever activity you want to do. And Sunday is all the time like more being lazy and sitting at home and like relaxing or going out, but like not doing something with some public stuff.
Yeah, you cannot buy anything, you cannot go to shops, things like that. Most of them are closed. Restaurants and stuff are still open, so you don't have to worry about that. Restaurant, cafes and so on.
Zoos and stuff, but like grocery shopping and stuff, we always had this pressure with Bharat that, okay, Saturday we have to go grocery shopping. And usually...
And we didn't used to have car at that time, so we would be having these big, massive bags. Like we would be carrying that home. And
usually, like, I used to... hate this so much on Saturdays. Everything would be like sold out. If you don't go in the morning, then all the vegetables are gone, like the nice ones, and so it's really annoying. Of course, you can also go grocery shopping during the week. Stores are also nowadays open till 10-11 o'clock at night. But most people after work, they just want to reach home and don't really want to go to stores and stuff. So these are the 5 bad things about Germany. Now
I'm going to talk about some of the things that are not so positive in the Indian culture, and one of them is involving your parents or grandparents in decisions which they really do not have much idea about, just because you think they know something about everything. This is a wrong mindset, because many times you have a better idea of things than your grandparents or your parents, so you could make those decisions on your own. but just because you're taught from the very starting that if you want to get something done, you always have to take the permission of your parents or your grandparents. That is something which still like kind of screws up with the mind of people, so that they cannot like really take more independent decisions still. The second thing that you still see in the Indian society sometimes is, of course, casteism and also discrimination on the basis of the skin color. Like you have this yeah, it's not exactly racism because it's like entire Indian race, but in India there's this entire society where being fair is seen as something nice and something desirable, and you have all of these cosmetics and creams and like that people use so that they could just look more fair and stuff like that, which is very sad. And also like you see like constant discrimination sometimes like from the people coming from northeast. In my university, one of my good friends, like he was from northeast, and you would still find some people like who would just like make just stupid comments about like him and like him coming from China and things like that. And then I just like wonder, like, you know, if people from northeast face so much hate in many places in India, like how does it make sense for them to like, you know, feel welcomed and stuff. But again, on the other hand, like he was a very good friend of ours, and we were a group of like 10-12 people, so he always felt comfortable with us. We were always hanging around and things like that. But outside our circle, like there were just like some people which were also like not so decent. So this is something which I do not really like. The same as with casteism and stuff. I think like this is just very stupid. This does not have a place in these days, but again, it's like further reinforced with the reservation and things like that. So people never really forget, even if you're from a different caste or something, and maybe there's absolutely no use these days about what kind of caste you're from, but because you have the selection processes in the universities, in the government exams, in any kind of other public sector jobs, you essentially never forget it.
Yeah, and for me as a foreigner, hearing these like caste system, reservation and all, it sounds absolutely ridiculous to me, and I don't think it serves any purpose at all nowadays, and I think it's also holding back the country from developing. So I can also add two more things about this. For example, I had a call recently with a woman who was interested in getting married in Denmark, and she was telling me because she is from the north and he's from the south, the parents are not allowing them to get married, and now they have to do it secretly, and I just find this unbelievable. And then also I had a friend, and she was telling me that her mother-in-law was constantly telling her that she is darker than the husband, and like mentioning it like over and over again, and like acting like she's saying it in a nice way, but you know exactly it's like a taunt.
Yeah.
And these things were really surprising to me. One thing I can add about this in Germany, like people do not look so much about your appearance, like they will also not tell you you're fat, you're bald, you this, you that. So that's something I really like.
This is so stupid. So I open my YouTube comments, right? So one of the reasons why we like kind of stopped vlogging was because like we were just getting like so many comments about the weight, like you guys got so much weight and things like that. And this is of course like we have mirrors at home, so we can like 100% see that just fine without mentioning. And I have never once in my entire like, you know, lifetime right now in Germany and like traveling around Europe, I haven't heard that from another person.
Yeah.
They don't consider it their business. It's none of their job to like kind of comment on something that you're already struggling with. But in India, you will see in the comments like over and over again. I would open my like this YouTube dashboard. I will see like what kind of comments, and sometimes you see these comments and like your day is pretty much ruined because it's like, okay, like I understand that, but like maybe you can focus on the lesson that I'm trying to teach here instead of like, you know, how I look. I hate this absolutely. I think like 100%. I have no hesitation here. Really hate that thing.
Yeah, that's something I also very much dislike, and I don't think it's just like Indian cultures, but I can say for sure that it's not in German culture that you tell somebody he looks that way. And
you have glasses, you have bald, you're fat, you have white hair, you have XYZ. Or like for women, like if like the same thing, you're too fat, you're too skinny, like all of this drama, like I have just never seen in Germany.
Yeah, or like sitting with like friends or something, and they dropping some like comment about your appearance, and I'm like,
I was talking to these like some YouTubers previously for a collaboration, and like as long as like we were talking in front of Alina, like it was all fine, and as soon as Alina went away, the first comment they made was like, yeah, so you guys got really fat, and I'm like, dude, like what the fuck?
There
Like,
was something like,
yeah.
is your wife cooking so nice?
No. Like it was also about like golu molu. Like they use these words, and it's like I understand that. Like I can see it just fine, and so that really pissed me off. But again, like work is
Anyways,
work.
it's nobody's business, and Bharat and I, if we find each other attractive, that's the only thing that matters. I don't need to get some affection from some like person sitting on the internet typing something in the keyboard.
Who generally don't have a profile picture.
Yeah, some people, even I see the profile picture and they look chubby themselves, and I'm like, how do you comment this to me? Anyways, this is a very long topic. Let's move on to the next point.
The third point is traffic. I think traffic is a big problem in many Indian cities. I come from a small city called Kurukshetra, and like even there, things had gotten really, really bad now with so much traffic and like just traffic jams from one end to the other. And when you go to New Delhi and stuff, you still see this. The worst
Bangalore.
experience that we had was Bangalore.
And Hyderabad.
Yeah, Hyderabad was also bad, but I think in Bangalore it took almost 2 hours for us to like go from the airport to the place where I was having a seminar that I wanted to give to the students, and it was just painful. I was like not adding that part inside because in Google Maps it was just showing like 40 minutes or something. Turns out it took 2 hours, and it was just like not a nice experience. So this is something which can be like still solved, made better with public transportation. For example, in Germany, I see if you do not have a car, you can live just fine. You don't need a car to live in Germany, and that was very positive. Also, like as a student, like you do not need to like travel long distances, stuff like that. Within 10 minutes of walk, you generally have a bus or you have a train station from where you can like take any kind of public transportation further, which is very positive. The fourth point is scamming and black markets for almost everything. Now we saw during the COVID times that the gas cylinders, all of a sudden, like these oxygen gas cylinders, all of a sudden they become a huge thing in the black market. Everything which could have been bought much cheaper was being sold at 5 or 10 times the price. And this is something that is so unheard of, at least like in the European culture, like the Western European countries. You don't see that. In Germany, when like COVID and stuff hit, like it wasn't that like people are hiding things and like people are like selling it at a much expensive price or something. That was just not the norm. If there was a price written on that thing, even if there are just like 10 quantities available, you don't jack up the price to like 5 times the price so that you can like make more profit. You sell it at the same price.
Same with visa appointment.
Oh my god. The visa appointments are just bad right now. Like we have tried to write to the German embassy so many times, but they're unfortunately not responding to any of our queries. Like we keep on asking like, why is just giving out a visa appointment such a big problem? Like the system can be made easier with like just some like normal website and like normal plugins and things like that. But they do not want to do anything about it. So this is something which was actually like very stupid, and turns out that many of the consultants, they're buying these slots which they do not even have any kind of like admits or something, but they're buying these slots in advance so that they can like sell it to the students later on, which is very, very shitty and very stupid.
I feel like they try to see the desperate times
Yeah.
where you just don't care, you will go with anything just to get out of this situation, and then they start scamming.
Yeah, this ripping off and scamming culture is just very bad. Like you see it everywhere in India in so many places. You have sometimes like some guests and something coming up, some foreigners coming abroad. You still see like many times people who are trying to just like asking them for double the price or something. Not nice. For sure not nice. You have like nice people too, and the unfortunate thing here is that people who are doing good things, like they are also then involved in the same kind of like umbrella, but it's just something which is still a problem in India. So the fifth thing in India is like the idea that like you can just like arrange marriages and stuff, and like this kind of seeps into a lot of different kind of questions, mindsets and so on. Alina gets a very common question because she plans marriages for international couples or interracial couples who are coming from different countries or same countries and want to get married in Denmark because the process is very simple. She gets emails with like, arrange a Danish girl for me, arrange a German girl for me, and like I want to get married and things like that. And Alina is like, I'm not doing that. Like I'm not a matchmaker or something. This is not.
These people have absolutely no idea about Germany or Denmark, how the people are there. They like what I have the feeling they just see a woman as like a thing you purchase or you buy, or they don't think farther. Like their brain is so like compromised that they can only think like one thing: I get married and done. Like they don't think about 100 other things.
Of course,
And
now this is not really the norm
that
now
makes
in
me
India.
so angry.
But it's just like you still get these comments, like, and everything that we are speaking about right now, it's from our own personal experiences that we have seen over and over again, and what we are trying to like
Yeah,
kind
like,
of share with you.
I think this point can be like arranged marriages / creeps. Like there are a lot of creeps out there, and I don't want to say that like it's all of them, definitely not. Every time I post something like that on my Instagram story, people are like, oh, so sorry you have such idiots are writing to you. So I definitely know that like 80-90% of the people are good, but there are still a lot of like stupid and creepy people out there, even like hunting down, like once there was some phone number written or something in a video, like they zooming in and then writing this person, and I'm like, how is this possible?
What the story about that was, like, I was doing this hostel tour, and like in the hostel tour I was essentially like showed this like a QR code showed up in the video, and like the QR code was the link for a WhatsApp group, and like this guy entered the WhatsApp group, and then afterwards he started writing to all of the women there, and
This
I'm
is
like,
so
this
creepy,
is so
like this is so
Yeah.
disgusting. And about like the arranged marriages part, I'm personally, I don't know the culture, and I don't know about it. I think back in the day it was working out, like even Barrett's parents, they are like such a nice couple and they fit together so good. But I feel like nowadays, with people being like more developed, people having like less tolerance and being more impatient, like arranged marriages sometimes they just do not work out. And I think like love marriage is so much better and more beneficial. So that is kind of why I put this in the negative point.
Yeah, the thing is, like, then parents don't share the blame, right? Like, that's the main thing. Like, if something goes wrong, like, what happens is most of the times the parents are blamed all of a sudden, that, okay, like, you guys arranged this marriage and stuff. And the nice thing that I actually find is, like, if you're having a love marriage, there's nobody else to blame other than yourself and your partner. You guys fucked up, if you fucked up, and, like, it's your problem, and your parents do not share the blame, or they are not the ones you blame on. So I personally find it, like, more positive for your parents, like, than the other way around.
Okay, let's start with the German good parts. So one thing I find really good is that Germans treat animals very nicely. Like we don't have much street animals, and if you find a street animal outside, then you bring it to an animal shelter, and we have lots of animal shelter, and seeing street dogs and cats is really not normal. And then also like it can be positive and negative things. Some Germans, they treat their dogs, for example, like kids. And for some cultures, it's like, okay, this is absolutely better than kids. Even like with the kids, they will be, oh, haha. But like with the dog, they will be like really like affectionate and treating it so much like nicer. So this can also be a good and bad part. But like mostly it's very nice that they treat the animals very good. So lots of vegetarian and vegan options. I think that's really good, that like I feel like Germany is so much more developed in Europe with like vegetarian and vegan food. I have seen it in Denmark, in Norway, in Romania, that vegetarian options, especially in small places, are not so much available. And if there's a vegetarian option, there's maybe one thing, and in Germany like there will be multiple things. And we have a lot of vegetarian and vegans, and also in the supermarket there will be extra aisles just with like vegan stuff, soya stuff and things like that. So that's something very positive for me. Breads, that had to be
so nice.
a separate point, because bread in Germany is very, very nice. And
one of the tastiest and one of the largest varieties like you will find in Germany of different kind of breads, bread buns, bread loaves.
You will find in every single supermarket, you will find a bakery aisle. You will find bakeries on every corner, and like there's a big bakery culture in Germany. And for example, when I was in US, the bread was so horrible. I cannot even call this bread. It's like a disgrace to bread. But Germany is definitely bread heaven. One very important and good point is public transport in Germany is amazing. It's kind of affordable. You can definitely find good deals and travel all around Germany, and it's very, very well connected. Even in small towns you will have buses going and maybe trains. So that's very good. The last point you have to see in the right way. So very affordable living costs, in my opinion, compared to many other countries. Like in Germany, the grocery shopping, if we compare it now with Scandinavia, is very
insane.
Very, very cheap.
So I was comparing the bread prices in Germany versus essentially like Denmark and Norway. So in Germany, we were buying a small bread bun for like anywhere from like 19 cents to 29 cents. Like this is like the normal range. And then afterwards, you can compare this to Denmark. In Denmark, we get one bread bun for €1. So that's like almost 3 times as expensive. And here I saw you're getting one bread bun for €1.20, which is almost 4 times as expensive as Germany.
Yeah.
And it just really adds up. Like we go for grocery shopping like for some tiny things, and just like all of a sudden like €40, €50, and like for €40-50 we get a week's grocery in Germany.
Yeah. Even like rent prices, if you think about like, for example, capital city Berlin, very affordable. Of course, I'm not talking about Munich and stuff, but like if you think about that, a capital city can have very affordable housing, and like in general Hamburg, you can also find affordable prices, and so many other cities. So like living costs in Germany compared to other European countries is
the main thing is you don't need so much money in Germany to like live a good life.
And even like less like richer countries than Germany are still like more expensive sometimes.
In Romania, like we saw, the prices are almost the same like
in
what we saw in Germany, but the salaries are so much less. The salaries are almost 5 times less. And this is something we also discussed with the other Romanian people we met, and they were like, this is like the biggest joke in Romania, that you have salaries in the standards of developing countries, but you have prices in the standards of developed countries, and it's not a good match at all. So now I'm going to talk about the good things in India, and that is like, of course, street food and the normal food. I think it's absolutely lovely. You have so much different tastes, so much variety. This is something that you can really not find in other countries, and it's not the question about that you have to dig deeper inside, that you have to like find more like traditional things in other countries and so on. There are just not so much varieties available.
Yeah.
And I think Alina has also seen many countries.
Yeah, like for example, right now I'm just ready to move away from Scandinavia, because it's like for a restaurant we have to drive so many kilometers, and then there's just such a tiny menu and so expensive.
Yeah.
And in India, like you can go on every corner and you can just find so tasty food, and it's like very affordable, and it's just like food paradise. That's why I like to go to Turkey, because it reminds me of India, because the same with the food, like you will find restaurants everywhere, things are open till night, and so that's why I want to move away now to Turkey, so I can have that type of lifestyle, like going out at night, just enjoying after work, because here we work the whole day, and then
we sleep.
At night we want to do something, we want to go out, but everything is closed, everything is so limited, and like it's just, I need a break from that.
Yeah. The one very positive thing about India, and like it's not the culture thing, but it's the more bureaucratic stuff, and that is the OCI card, Overseas Citizen of India. So if you're a person of Indian origin, you can apply for the OCI card, and it is very nice because you can do exactly everything that a normal Indian would do, other than voting, essentially, in India.
But it's also not just for Indian origin, it's also for spouse-based. Like I have a OCI card. After 2 years of marriage, you can apply for the OCI card. So whenever there's a family emergency or anything happen, we can just book the flight and go immediately, because otherwise you have to wait for the visa, apply for it. It's also not that cheap. So many Indians don't even know about OCI card, even though it's an absolute essential if you have another nationality now.
No, I think it's a very positive thing that India did. I think that was a big step in the right direction, and I think like this makes lives of so many more Indians easier, and also like brings in so much more money to India, because people can just travel to India without any kind of thoughts of visa and things like that, and they essentially end up spending so much more money here. You can start up your businesses, you can do anything that you want, like anything that a normal Indian does other than voting.
And some people, they like, I don't want to take the effort of applying for OCI card, I can just get the visa, what's the problem? But like we had so many scenarios where in the case of death or something, they have to travel immediately, and then they have to wait for the visa, apply for emergency visa, and then again that delays the plans. So OCI card is absolute must.
The next positive point about India is traveling. So India is more like the smaller, like, you know, European Union. So you have towards the north Himalayas, so more like Norway. You can like experience so many different kind of nature. You have deserts in Rajasthan, you have the coastal regions, the entire side like Mumbai, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and all of these. And then again towards the east you have an entirely different kind of terrain. So this is very interesting that you can find so many different kind of terrains within India, and you can experience so many different things, and still at a very budget price. So that is something that you do not get to do in many other countries.
And as a foreigner traveling like India, it's very interesting because you are in the same country but you experience so many different things. So like traveling alone in India, I think, is very important.
Yeah. The fourth thing is warm people. So essentially it's so much easier to make friends with Indians. You just have to like strike up a conversation. If you're normally working in the same kind of workplace, if you're going to the same university or something, it's very easy. You can hang out like anytime you want, and it's so chilled out. And this is something which is very different in other countries. So you do not have this kind of like spontaneous like, you know, let's just catch up and like let's go out somewhere or things like that. That is not really that common. And also like many times you will find like many Indians which are also like rather helpful. So you can also like kind of talk to them about some problems you're having and things like that, which is definitely very positive.
Yeah, even we were sitting in this dhaba, is it called?
Dhaba.
Yeah, and then like next to us was like a very old couple, and then all of a sudden they started talking to us and telling us that their sons are living in Canada and US and they have just come there, and it was so nice and blah blah blah, and that was just like very sweet. Because probably like in Germany, I don't know if this would have happened with like an old couple. So yeah, people definitely are a lot warmer, and like so many times Bharat just stops the car, asks somebody, he answers without being annoyed, and like that is what I really liked.
And the fifth and the thing which I kind of like cherish the most is the hostel time, like, you know, the university time in India and finding friends and stuff. It's just like such a nice time. Like this is the kind of time which is never going to return back to you, no matter like what kind of stage in life you go in, like be it in India itself or like outside. This is going to be something that you will always miss. So if anybody who's watching this video and you're in your hostel right now in the university or something, like really cherish those times, cherish the times around your friend, because you will never get a freedom like this ever again. So
it's a little bit different in Germany, I think.
Yeah.
First of all, you're not living in this hostel, and second of all, like I don't think you can make that deep of a connection with people and have these like crazy times. Bharat used to tell me they're going out for food all the time, every day, staying up at night, gaming together, things like that.
Till 4 or 5 in the morning we were like playing games. We used to play this Age of Mythology a lot, and like we just love those times, man.
Yeah, so I definitely think these are special times which most probably will not repeat themselves in Germany if you want to be realistic.
Yeah.
And you should really enjoy the times which you have in India, because Bharat, even now, like 5-6 years later,
I really miss
he's talking about it, and he's like,
absolutely
I miss these
it.
times. And I can understand him, because life is now still good, but like a lot different, obviously, and it's just the two of us, and sometimes we really do miss having friends around and just being with people our same age and laughing and this, that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video.
Thank you so much for watching this video.
Let us know if you want part 3, because there can be even more things.
Yeah.
And these videos are very long but very important.
I've also listed a lot of free resources directly in the description below, so that if you're planning to come to Germany, be it for studies or be it for work, you can still use those resources. Just download them, attend the webinar or something, and then you can still prepare yourself and get a basic idea, at least in the starting. So make sure you do that. If you have any kind of questions whatsoever, just let us know in the comments below.
And give us a like, and we always get happy if you comment under the video, because it shows us, okay, it's not just like I'm not a silent viewer. Like even if you don't comment usually on videos, just comment. It really means a lot to us, and it shows us, okay, people are interested in what we are doing.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.